welcome back to my channel and to a little bit of a different one. So in this one, I wanted to discuss how to deal with, in a society that tells us that our children are an extension of ourselves, right? How to cope with having a child, a seemingly normal child, that does not suffer from any visible disability, that is faring poorly academically. And the first thing I want you guys to do is get a journal and a pen and ask yourself, why is it bothering you that your child is faring poorly academically? Okay, is it because you are worried about their finances, how they will be able to take care of themselves as adults if you are not there anymore? And if this is what you're dealing with, I want you to understand that the world is not what it used to be. Before 60 years ago, the only road to success, in the way society views it, as in having a lot of riches, a lot of money, was going to university and becoming a lawyer, a doctor, a consultant, a project manager. This was the way 65 years ago, but that's not the only way. Today we have content creators that are making millions. We have nail technicians that are making bank, hairdressers again that are really doing their thing, millionaires, right? So being a lawyer, a doctor, whatever it is you had wished your child would become is not the only way for them to access financial freedom. And to expand on that, it has come to my attention that a lot of parents want their children to become everything that they never were. I think we've all heard the joke about Nigerian parents and Ghanaian parents and just some black parents in general wanting their children to become doctors and lawyers. What is this obsession with doctorhood and lawyerness? If you want a doctor in your family so bad, perhaps you should go back to university and become one, right? It is unfair to expect of your children to become everything that you never were, right? In the same token, a lot of them who are business owners, doctors and lawyers, want their children to also become that in order to take back the practice or the business. Again, also unfair. As a rule of thumb, if you have so narrow expectation of what your child should become when they grow, perhaps parenthood journey is not for you, right? Because we can't control who our children will become. We can try to do that from age 0 to 7, but the truth to be told is our children will come in contact with other people at school. Socialization does play a big role on who they will become as well. So if you have a very narrow, idea in your mind of who your child should be, perhaps you should not become a parent. I know that I am, miles and leaps away from who my parents thought I would be. Both my parents are very Muslim people, and if you watch my channel, if you're familiar with my content, look at me. Okay. So if you have like very narrow idea of who your child should be, yeah, consider that maybe parenthood is not for you. And also understand that love is not control. This is also very important. Like, a lot of parents are trying to control their children, and that is not love. Stop trying to control your kids. Like, let them be, let them do what they want to do, be who they want to be, support them in that journey. Don't try to over control them, because more time than not that would actually lead to the opposite. As a child, my parents really tried to control me, and when I became a young adult, a teenager, like, I did everything that they forbade, because like they didn't give also reason about why I shouldn't do these things. They just forbid it and didn't say why. And don't do that. That's, in my opinion, that's poor parenting. Okay, do not try to over control your child. Like, some parents are so much into control that even when they want to control the way the child is moving, the way the child is talking, everything. Do not do that. Control is not love. Love is unconditional. Accept and love your child in the way that they are, even if it's not what you'd envision them to be, who you would like them to be. You have to try your hardest to accept them as they are, for whom they are, and not for who you wish they would be. And again, if you don't feel like you have the ability, the capacity to do that, then consider that perhaps being child free is what best for you, right? So consider that the parenthood journey may not be for you if you feel like love is control or control is love, right? Also understand that there are 8 forms of intelligence. Now this has been well documented. There's not only intellectual intelligence, as in the capacity. For me, in my humble opinion, school is about your ability to regurgitate what you're learning. So it's not necessarily about thinking for yourself and thinking outside the box. I actually feel that school teaches the opposite of this. I actually feel that the school system is only, in the way that it is today, it is probably only ideal for about 30% of the children. Again, this is an opinion-based video, so this is in my opinion. You don't learn, in school, in my opinion, skills that really help you out, later on in life. What you learn more is, how to behave and be like other people, and how to regurgitate what it is a teacher, someone told you, a human being like yourself. They may be right or they may be wrong. So understand that the fact that your child isn't faring well in the academical system as it is doesn't mean that there is something wrong with them or that they are stupid. Think of what Einstein once said, that if you want to judge a fish by his ability to fly, you're going to think it is stupid. I think himself didn't speak until he was like 3.5 or something. Some people say that he was autistic, and a lot of people who went on to achieve something bigger than themselves were deemed as autistic and had some form of ADHD and struggled with learning in the way that the school system want to. Children who have ADHD or are somewhere in the autism syndrome spectrum rather, sorry, can be extremely gifted, but not in the way that they can sit still and listen to what somebody is saying and regurgitate it, because there's just too much going on in their mind. So it could be that your child is actually literally a genius, and that there are so many thoughts and so many amazing ideas coming through their mind at any given time that they are not even capable of listening to whatever a teacher is saying in order to regurgitate it. The third tip that I have for you is observe your child. This is closely linked to what I was saying just now. And where do they have their gift? We all are gifted in some way, shape or form. We all have Michael Jordan capacity at something. So it's important you observe your child. Are they amazing with the hands, or are they emotionally extremely intelligent, or are they good with photography? Do they have an eye for something that is aesthetically pleasing? Things like observe them carefully. Where is their gift, and nurture that. I love the quote, do what you love and you won't feel like you're working a day in your life. And ideally in an ideal world, I feel like parents need to observe, be extremely observant toward their kids. Find their child's gift, where their child is very, very good, and nurture that. Foster that, have them develop that skill. They say that it takes 10,000 hours to be a master at anything. And what you want to do, if your child is not doing academically the way that you want, and if you don't feel that they are going to succeed in the traditional role, you want to observe what they are very, very good at, and you want to nurture that. You want to foster that. You want to encourage them. You want to tell them you believe in them. You want to really, really encourage, and that perhaps find ways to help them develop that by taking them to seminars or classes or courses if you can afford it, and really help them nurture and foster their gift. Now I want to touch on 2 things that I feel you should not do. And one is, make your child feel stupid. Even if your child is not doing academically the way that you want them to do, understand that, telling them they're stupid, they disappointed you, hitting them, unfortunately, we know that it does happen with some parents, is not going to help at all. One thing that I feel parents fail to understand is that your child wants to do well. Right? They are also not happy with, if they're getting bad grades. Don't you feel that they would have wanted to come home and show you this super good grade and have you be proud of them? Don't you feel that they are already disappointed in themselves if they're bringing you this bad grade? Think about it. We all want to do well, right? So if they're not doing well, consider the fact that perhaps they can't, right? There is really, there are proofs about this now. Psychiatrists have come, out with the fact that, I forgot the name, if I remember it, I will write it down, on screen, that some children or some people are incapable of learning math, right? Some children have ADHD, some children have ADD, some people have, some children have difficulties with reading and writing and, learning. So understand that perhaps your child cannot do it. Perhaps they really, really want to, but they're just incapable, okay? So instead of focusing on, you know, the end result, which is something you can't control, right? Only, you know, the teacher who is grading controls that, right? Focus on whether they give their best, right? One thing that I always ask my daughter is, you know, did you give it your all, right? Do you really feel like you gave it your all? And if she says yes, for me, that's enough, you know, like she did the best she could, right? So whatever, you know, the end result is of that, oh well, it is what it is, you know. I'm not gonna let, you know, that control me. I'm really proud of her when she does her best, and that's all, and that's it, and that's enough. She doesn't need to do any more than that. And the second thing that you want to keep in mind, and this is for parents whose children used to do well, right? They used to have good grades, they used to have okay grades, and then all of a sudden they're not anymore, right? All of a sudden they are failing, all of a sudden they are, you know, if all of a sudden they're failing academically, did you notice any other form of change? You know, are they also like, is their behavior different? Or do they act in a way that they did not used to act before? Do they say things that they did not used to say before? Do they, you know, keep to themselves a lot when before they used to talk a lot? Or, you know, if before they were very polite, are they rude now? And the reason why I'm asking all of this question is because sometimes children are going through something and they don't open up about it, right? One of the reasons why some children do well academically and all of a sudden they're not doing well anymore is because they experience something traumatic. So for example, it is not unusual that when two parents are divorcing for the children's grades to become poor, because this is they're dealing with something traumatic for them, right? Or perhaps in worst case scenario, I'm really not hoping this on you, you know, it's not unusual that when the children experience trigger warning molestation, that they, you know, start to behave in a way that they did not used to behave before, that they have problem concentrating, and of course this will reflect itself in the grades. So, you know, if you had a child that was doing well academically and all of a sudden is not anymore, instead of, you know, going into, you know, immediately anger and rage and, you know, attacking them, try to ask yourself, why is that? You know, try to, you know, ask indirect questions, you know, observe a lot, perhaps take them to see a kid psychiatrist, a therapist to talk to, and to try to understand what brought the shift. Why is it that all of a sudden they are not doing, you know, as well as they used to? And also encourage them. In this case, again, do not say like, I'm so disappointed in you, you know, you used to do so well, now you're doing terrible. You're not gonna be able to motivate them to do better by telling them this, you know. You have to tell them stuff that, you know, I know you can do better, I know you got this, I know you can do this. Do you know how I know you can? Because it used to be like that before. So, you know, I believe in you, I know you can do better than this. So encourage them instead of being like, no, don't be negative. You know, there are studies about this, about how people do better or want to do better when we encourage them instead of when we criticize them, when we make them feel stupid, you know, when we demolish them. This makes people just, you know, children just not care anymore, right? They're like, oh well, you know, either way I'm a disappointment to you. So instead of, you know, doing that, you want to encourage, you want to be their biggest supporter. Tell them I'm part of you regardless. I just know that you have more in you, and I want us together to find out why is it that, you know, a formula that was working prior just isn't working anymore. Do you need more support? Do you need, you know, me to get tutors for you? Do you need me to free more of my shadow so that I can help you personally? What is it you need from me so that together as a team we can build and get back to where we used to be? You know, remember our goal was, you know, I don't know if you guys had a goal like a college in mind where you wanted your child to go to, whether it was Yale or Brown or, you know, wherever it was. You know, remember how we wanted, you know, to do that, to get there. So how can we together get back to where we were before? So yeah, you guys, those are the tips and the tricks that I have in, you know, dealing with, coping with having a child that is, you know, not doing as well as we would have liked, I guess, you know, academically. If you found this video helpful and, you know, would like for me to do more of this type of content, as in, you know, parenting tips, do not forget to give this video a thumbs up. In the comment section down below, let me know, you know, what are your top parenting tips. Do not forget to subscribe to my channel as well, and I will talk to you guys on Wednesday, 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Bye guys. Mwah.